there is no substitution for showing up on time, knowing the task at hand, and having an idea that you yourself have come up with.
At 69, the tragedy of Tom Hanks is beyond heartbreaking. Few figures in Hollywood have left as profound an imprint on the public imagination as Tom Hanks. In an industry where bright lights often cast long shadows, he has come to symbolize something enduring: the very heart of decency, the persistence of empathy, and the notion that, against all odds, goodness can be more than just a performance. But behind the gentle humor of Forrest Gump, the desperate resilience in Castaway, and the hard-won morality of Philadelphia, there lies a story equal parts luminous and shadowed, a human tale of struggle, love, loss, and quiet triumph. Early life and childhood. Some hearts arrive in this world with cracks that no childhood can fully mend. Tom Hanks, born July 9, 1956, in the modest town of Concord, California, entered a world unadorned, marked by the narrow margins of working-class life. His father, Amos, was a traveling cook, always on the move for the next paycheck. His mother, Janet, worked endlessly to piece together stability, but rarely found it. At age 4, the Hanks family splintered quietly and without fanfare, severed by a divorce that left Tom and 2 siblings bouncing between rentals, kitchens, and new towns, while their youngest brother remained with their mother. Childhood was, by necessity, a masterclass in adaptation. By the age of 10, Tom had slept in more than 10 different houses, cramped rentals, temporary spaces still holding the scent of the previous tenant's struggle. In every unfamiliar home, at every new school, Tom learned hunger not only for food, but for constancy. Still, in the haze of hardship, one small sanctuary appeared: the stage. In school auditoriums, under flickering lights, applause broke his invisibility. For Tom Hanks, performance was not an escape, it was oxygen. Later, he would sum up his childhood in one bitter word: lonely. Yet even as isolation took root, he forged a silent promise that if he ever found his own voice, he'd use it to help others feel seen. It's a vow that stamped itself into every role he would later play, and, perhaps most critically, into his truest self. The journey to acting stardom. Adulthood did not arrive to rescue Tom Hanks from loneliness. It simply transformed it. At 21, he landed in New York with nothing but a battered suitcase and a typewriter. Dropping out of Sacramento State University with more hope than certainty, he set out to chase a dream in a city that cared little if he faded. Rent was a constant threat, meals were scavenged from change, and most doors remained fixed firmly shut. Audition after audition ended in rejection. His kindness, so natural, so unguarded, seemed out of sync with an industry that prized sharper edges. But Tom didn't break. He persisted, working as a stagehand in Cleveland, performing in oddball sitcoms and low-budget films, and taking even the humblest opportunities on offer. He endured by working twice as hard, always showing up, no matter how thin the applause. "Those years taught me everything," he would later say. "You work, you show up, even if no one notices." Bit by bit, the wall began to crack. By age 24, his persistence yielded a lead role on the sitcom Bosom Buddies. Hardly an instant classic, but for Tom, it was proof that endurance had value. And as each challenge was met, he became more than the sum of his disappointments. He became the embodiment of resilience. The breakthrough that truly changed everything came with Big in 1988. Playing a child trapped in a man's body, Tom tapped into something pure and authentic. The wonder he had protected through all those childhood moves, all those lonely nights. The role earned him his first Academy Award nomination and proved he could carry a major motion picture on his shoulders alone. Major film roles and choices. Tom Hanks's ascent was seen by many as effortless, moving from lighthearted comedy to the gravitas of Oscar-winning drama. But behind every triumph, the price was steep. In Philadelphia, he dropped 35 pounds to inhabit a man ravaged by illness and stigma. The experience stayed with him long after the cameras stopped rolling. He spent months researching the AIDS crisis, meeting with patients and advocates, determined to honor their stories with authenticity. The weight loss was just the beginning. He had to shed his own preconceptions and prejudices to become Andrew Beckett, a man fighting for dignity in his final days. In Forrest Gump, he risked everything, trading a fixed salary for a share of ticket sales, a decision that paid off handsomely but also transformed applause into pressure. The character demanded a unique physicality, a specific cadence of speech, and an emotional range that spanned decades. Tom spent weeks perfecting Forrest's distinctive accent and mannerisms, drawing inspiration from the novel and his own observations of human nature. Saving Private Ryan demanded he carry the emotional trauma of war under a veneer of steely restraint. Director Steven Spielberg put the cast through a grueling boot camp, but Tom's preparation went deeper. He studied World War II history, read letters from soldiers, and consulted with veterans to understand the weight of command and the cost of survival. In Castaway, he mirrored his character's isolation so deeply that months of silence left an imprint even after filming ended. The physical transformation was extreme, gaining weight for the early scenes, then losing 50 pounds during production shutdown to portray Chuck Nolan's island survival. But the psychological preparation was even more demanding, spending time alone to understand the depths of solitude. Yet amidst the accolades, triumph never became a place to rest. Success brought its own silent burdens, turning recognition into expectation and making the heights of fame as confining as they were liberating. Personal life and relationships. Behind the scenes, Tom Hanks' personal life was as marked by struggle as his career was by achievement. His first marriage, to Samantha Lewis, was a young man's attempt to fill the void left by his parents' divorce. Love, in those early years, was often tangled with loneliness and fear. They met in college, two young dreamers sharing scripts and ambitions. Samantha was an actress too, understanding the demands of the craft, but struggling with the realities of building a career while raising children. Colin arrived in 1977, followed by Elizabeth in 1982. And suddenly Tom found himself juggling auditions with diaper changes, late-night feedings with early morning rehearsals. As work demanded more and more, the foundations of that marriage buckled. The divorce in 1987 left Tom grieving not just a partner, but the idea of a family he had tried so hard to sustain. He watched his own children live split between households, haunted by a fear that he was repeating the mistakes of his own upbringing. Yet, even after the marriage ended, his devotion didn't. He remained present and supportive, especially as Samantha later battled cancer. The pain of what was lost became a lesson in steadfast kindness, a trait that would come to define Tom Hanks as a father, friend, and partner. In 1988, Tom met Rita Wilson on the set of Bosom Buddies, though their romance didn't blossom until years later during the filming of Volunteers. Rita brought stability, laughter, and a shared understanding of the entertainment industry. Their marriage in 1988 marked not just a new chapter, but a new understanding of what partnership could mean: health challenges and aging. Age brings its own host of trials, and Tom Hanks met them head-on. Diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 2013, daily life became a discipline: measured meals, medications, and a constant vigil. The diagnosis wasn't entirely surprising. His dramatic weight fluctuations for various roles had taken their toll, and genetics played a part as well. I went to the doctor and he said, "Hey, you've been type 2 diabetic for a while." Tom would later recall with characteristic humor, masking deeper concern. The condition required a complete lifestyle overhaul. No more impulsive eating, no more ignoring his body's signals in service of a role. When the world was brought to a halt by COVID-19, Tom and Rita were among the first public figures to face the virus. Their struggle, played out far from the spotlight, was a reminder that illness cares little for fame or fortune. The couple contracted the virus while in Australia, where Tom was filming an Elvis Presley biopic. Their openness about the diagnosis helped demystify the disease for millions of Americans. Recovery was slow and sometimes frightening. Rita developed severe antibodies, while Tom battled fatigue that lingered for months. Yet their public handling of the situation, honest, calm, and responsible, became a model for how to face uncertainty with grace. Yet, for all the challenges to his health, Tom has shown the same quiet courage he brought to his roles. He faces each day with steadfastness, finding strength not in denial, but in acceptance. His approach to aging has been similarly pragmatic, acknowledging limitations while refusing to be defined by them. Fighting family and personal battles. Some of Tom Hanks's greatest battles have been invisible to the public eye. As a father, he's supported his children through their own struggles: addiction, fame, rebellion. His son Chet's battles with substance abuse played out in tabloids and social media, but Tom's response was always measured, always protective. The pain of watching a child falter has no script, no lines to memorize, only love and a willingness to stand by them, even when the world looks away. Tom has spoken carefully about these challenges, balancing his children's privacy with the reality of living in the public eye. His relationship with his son Colin, now a successful actor and director, demonstrates the possibility of overcoming early family trauma. Despite the divorce, despite the instability of Tom's early career, they've built a bond based on mutual respect and shared creative passion. With his younger children, Chester and Truman, born to Rita, Tom has tried to provide the stability he never had. Family dinners, regular schedules, and protection from the more intrusive aspects of fame have been priorities. Yet even these efforts couldn't shield them entirely from the pressures of having a famous father. No headline could capture the complexity of these moments. They are the trials of a man who never gave up on the people he loves, who has chosen, time and again, presence over perfection, philanthropy, and public acts of kindness. Away from the red carpet, Tom Hanks is known just as much for his kindness as for his characters. He gives quietly, supporting causes from cancer research to children's education, not with spectacle, but with sincerity and consistency. His donations often go unreported, his volunteer hours uncounted. The Elizabeth Dole Foundation, supporting military caregivers, has benefited from his advocacy. Children's hospitals across the country have received both funding and personal visits. During the 2008 financial crisis, he quietly helped crew members facing foreclosure, never seeking recognition for these acts of generosity. His approach to charity mirrors his approach to life: consistent, thoughtful, and focused on genuine impact rather than publicity. When veterans organizations needed support, he showed up. When disaster struck communities, he contributed both money and time. These acts aren't for attention. They are extensions of the promise he made in childhood to make other people feel seen and valued. He is, at heart, a man who believes empathy is a discipline, a habit to be practiced daily in small acts of grace. Whether it's remembering a crew member's name, sending handwritten thank you notes, or simply listening when someone needs to be heard, Tom Hanks has made kindness his most consistent performance. Reflections on character, legacy, and life. Now in his late 60s, Tom Hanks wanders through days that radiate a hard-won calm. He's amassed great wealth, bought homes from California to Greece, and enjoyed the rewards of a storied career. But what stands out is not the size of the bank account, but the steady way he moves through the world, intentional, humble, and deeply present. He chooses roles with meaning, projects with resonance, and invests himself not in notoriety, but in impact. Recent years have seen him tackle complex historical figures. Walt Disney in Saving Mr. Banks, Captain Sullenberger in Sully, and Elvis's manager in Elvis. Each role chosen for its human complexity rather than its commercial potential. His marriage to Rita Wilson remains a testament to devotion, with bonds strengthened through illness, loss, and the slow, unglamorous work of simply showing up day after day. They've weathered Rita's breast cancer diagnosis, his diabetes, their COVID battle, and the ordinary challenges that test every long marriage. In interviews, Tom often returns to themes of responsibility and gratitude. He understands his platform and uses it carefully, speaking out on important issues while avoiding the performative activism that plagues many celebrities. His political views are known but not constantly advertised. His values emerge through actions rather than declarations. Tom Hanks shows us that true greatness is not just a matter of talent or luck, but a consequence of character. It is the result of promises kept, kindness repeated, and a willingness to keep loving, even when life makes it hardest to do so. In a world that often mistakes noise for substance, he has chosen quiet consistency. In an industry that rewards spectacle, he has built his reputation on authenticity. His legacy will not be measured only in box office receipts or awards, though both are substantial. It will be found in the example he set, that success without character is hollow, that fame without humility is fragile, and that the most important performances happen when no one is watching. If this story has touched you, consider what it means to live with intention, to choose kindness when it would be easier to choose indifference, and to remember that the smallest acts of grace often create the most lasting impact.